All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, tea break. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. Pretty impressive, the first slide, a logical solution to emotional problems. When TEDx people came and spoke to me, they wanted me to give a very wonderful idea. And honestly speaking, I had no idea. So when they came and they met me, and this is going to be disclosed right now, they probably would, feel cheated when I disclose it. I had no idea what to tell them. And therefore, sitting over there, something that came to my mind was, okay, let me share with people something that I have believed in. All right? My name is Amit, and I have no idea why people really listen to me. I actually have no idea. People tell me that I am an entrepreneur. People tell me that, I'm an educationist. I am a corporate trainer. I really do not understand all of those things. In fact, so many of them would also call me a motivational speaker. And personally speaking, I really hate this term. When somebody says, oh, so you are a motivational speaker, huh? To me, as an individual, when as a kid, when I looked around, when I saw things happening, when I was in my college, every time there was a person who would claim motivational speaker, I would actually feel from within that what kind of tragedy would a person be going through if the person needs a speaker, a motivation from an outside, source. Why can't we get it from inside? And I really did not know that. And I really hate it when people tell me, you are a motivational speaker, right? And I just don't like it because I'm not. In fact, how I have lived my entire life is something that I'm going to share with you. The previous slide, which was a logical solution, is something that I don't know whether it exists or not. What I am going to do is, I just assume that if people are here who would pay money to listen to ugly people like me, with you people, I'm going to validate or check the truthfulness of my beliefs. And if together we are able to do so, I think there would be a logical solution. I've never shared it with anyone, so I'm going to share it with you. Are you ready with me? Yes, no? All right, let's move on. The first thing that I want to share with you people is that do we all agree that in our lives, we definitely take a lot of decisions, or at least we reach a point where we've got to take a call? Yes, no? Each day, every day, we've got to take so many decisions, right? Whether they are big decisions or small decisions, that doesn't matter. For example, which career to pick? This one or that one? Whom to marry? If we are good enough to get a choice. So this one or that one? And most important of them all, which selfie to post on Facebook? This one or that one? So there are so many decisions that we need to take every day. This means for sure that every day we reach a crossroad. And within a day, we probably reach this crossroad hundreds of times. Yes, no? Yes. Second thing. Now, assuming that we have reached a particular cross where there are two paths, path A and path B. I am not defining those paths. I'm going to let you people do so. Let's say we take a particular path, path A or path B. Whichever one, we end up taking is a secondary issue. The first issue is, do we see that there would be two paths? Now tell me, and tell me honestly, I want your response, huh? Can either of these paths be a perfect path? Yes or no? Sure. Path A for awesome. Perfect path? Has anyone ever taken a perfect call, perfect decision? Yes or no? Which means whether I take path A or path B, I'm going to get a pluses or a minus. Which means I'm going to have my own share of good things and I'm going to have my own share of negatives, right? Yes, no? Can you people in your mind just think of one very small thing, for example, a decision that you had to take, all right? Whether this or that. It can be anything. It can be the dish that you want to order in restaurant tonight, all right? Even that can be there. You know what is the biggest trouble in life? This is something that I have identified. The biggest trouble in life is that when you choose a path, any particular path, can we have a choice from the audience? Which path would you want to take, A or B? Let's play. Which one? A or B? B is bakwas. Which one? You actually follow that, huh? You actually believe B is bakwas, huh? It doesn't matter. These are like names, stupid names, and you're actually falling for it, huh? Okay, let's say we take path A, right? Okay, we want, somebody has sent a special choice, so we'll take path B, all right? As if this would change my presentation, right? All right. Yeah, I mean, all right. Okay, let's say we take path B, all right? Now, all of us have already set the basic premise that either path would have its own pluses and it would have its own minuses, right? No, you know what is the biggest tragedy? That once you start walking on the path, I'm not talking about standing at the crossroad where you are evaluating, keep doing that, but once you start walking at it, every time you feel a negative, a trough in your life, you see that there is something negative that is going on, the biggest mistake that people, and most of us do, is we start looking at the other path A, and the positives of it. Had we taken that path, things would have been far different. And things would have been far more amazing. And you know what happens? This happened once. One negative, I start looking at the positives of path A. Another one, I start looking at the positives of path A. Another one, we start, and you know what? At times, there comes a point where the attitude becomes so that you stop enjoying the positives of path B also. Because every time there is a positive on path B, you actually start comparing it with path A. And you see, acha, if I've got this much here, I would have gotten that much there, And then they try and justify it with opportunity cost as well. You know what has started happening? You have stopped enjoying your life. And this is precisely what causes emotional trouble in people. And you would be able to see, whether you are one of them or somebody who is like this. But you would see, the moment the call is taken, you keep thinking about the other thing. You get that? You order a dish, and suddenly you start looking at other person's dish. You are not going to enjoy your dish. You've ordered it. So this means it's very important that we understand why does this happen. And this happens primarily because of this tussle between logic and emotion. As a matter of fact, human beings are products of their emotions. And this is something which I don't need to tell you. When a child is growing up, you don't need to teach him emotion. I don't need to teach you emotion because you can feel them. That kid, that small 1.5-year-old, 2 years old kid, when the father says no, and suddenly the guy doesn't understand the meaning of no, but gets that emotion which scares him and say, I don't want to have this emotion once again. You get my point? And this is exactly what happens. And interestingly, when I was going through that phase where one analyzes a lot of things, I used to be very crazy. I still am. I can't think straight. So I used to think, how wonderful it would become if, somebody does it with a newly born kid and raises the kid in a very different way. Okay, tells the person, yes, no. And the father says, yes, I'm very proud of you. And the guy would feel, oh my God, this is a really bad thing when the father is proud of me. You know why? Because emotion is there. Words convey something which is bigger, which is emotion. And therefore, what we need to understand is the root of this emotion, it doesn't have to be taught. That is there with all of us. What is the problem? The problem is with logic. And that is the reason why logic is taught in universities. Coincidentally, I happen to be a faculty of logic also. I teach logic. And my logical thinking has taught me that even emotions can be understood. There can be a flow if we understand some of the very basic premises. All right, some of us would be would be aware of the basics of logic, wherein the root equation, all right, the basic equation of logic says if A is equal to B is equal to C, therefore A is equal to C, right? So if I say A is equal to B and B is equal to C, therefore A is equal to C. You know what would be an emotion? What would be an emotion? No, I don't agree A is equal to B. But if I'm saying that given part is A is equal to B, you'll have to take it. So the premises of our lives must be set. That's the first thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are suffering any emotional problem, and you may look at any emotional problem in your life, all right, right now, let's validate it. The problem could be my parents don't listen to me. The problem could be my boss doesn't listen to me. The problem could be my clients don't listen to me. Oh, that's not going to be a problem if your wife doesn't listen to you, because that's a fact. That's going to happen. But, nonetheless, my wife, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my husband, they don't listen to me. Whoever, whatever. The point is, you've got to set your basic premises if you want to solve that problem. Are you ready? Yes, no? Let's move on to some of the basic premises that I believe one must, come to terms with. The first one is, for example, that we need to understand that we live in a world of probability. All right? Is there something which is a definite certainty in this world? You get that? So no, obviously no. You know why? Because it's about the future, and future is uncertain. But we need to understand that the probability moves between 0 and 1. All right? I was taking this one workshop in one of the engineering colleges, and The workshop was on interview skills, how to handle interviews. And I was generally sharing my knowledge, my ideas about how to tackle interviews. And there was this one guy who asked me, sir, if the interviewer asks me a question and I don't know the answer, what do I do? Okay, matter of factly, I responded, okay, fair enough. You say, sir, I'm sorry, I don't know, this. But he said, sir, what? Interview. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Was it an interview? Oh, I'm so sorry. No. If it was an interview and the interviewer asks you this question, then you must answer it. And make sure that you answer it correctly. And he says, no, sir. See, the interview is happening, huh? And the interviewer has asked me the question. I don't know it. Now what do I do? I said, no, it's a final interview, right? Job interview, right? He said, yes, sir. I said, no, then you'll have to answer and make sure that you answer it correctly. And this guy then became too desperate to convince me and said, sir, आप समझ नहीं रहे. उसने मुझे पूछ लिया. मुझे ना आता ही नहीं है. And I was like, fair enough, dude, but it's the main interview, right? As you pointed out. He said, yes. I said, then you'll have to answer it, and that too correctly. And he was like, sir, aap samajhte kyun nahi? And I said, why do you not get my point, dude? The point is, this has happened. The second one is that we do want to solve the problem, all right? We are not going to just keep carping about it. We are not just going to keep crying about it. Another incident. I train students for MBA exams like CAT, etc. And there is one, and very often, this is not one particular guy. Very often I meet a person who says, sir, I can't read newspapers. What do I do? I said, okay, don't read. I said, sir, but then you know what? I would not be able to read and score well in reading comprehension. I said, yes. He said, then I will not be able to crack the CAT. I said, yes. He said, but I want to crack the CAT, right? I said, okay, fair enough, then read. Sir, but I can't read the newspaper. You get that? Okay, fair enough. Then you don't want solution to the problem. You want, a friend whose shoulders you want to cry on. Somebody who would listen to what you have to say, but generally you don't want the solution. You know where does the solution lie, but you don't want to listen to it. I hope we, as intellectuals, understand that we want the solutions. So do we want the solution is the very first important premise. And I'm assuming that if you are looking for a solution, yes, you want to solve the problem. The second premise is also there. Does that make sense? The third one is a very important one that we want. We know what we want and we know what we don't want. And this is the problem, this is the biggest thing. Have you ever come across a situation like, और भाई क्या खाएगा? बोले कुछ भी. बोले ना बता ना. बोले कुछ भी. कमाल हो गया. कुछ भी. बोले बता देना. अरे कुछ भी. बोले चलिए काम करते हैं फिर डोसा खाते हैं. बोले ना डोसा नहीं. बोले क्या खाएगा फिर? बोले कुछ भी. Do you understand where where this guy is moving? The guy in a very high probability does not want to take that call, take that decision which might go wrong. And therefore, does not even share what he wants or what he doesn't want. He's too scared to take that call, and that is one of the biggest reasons of emotional turmoil. Because you are holding yourself because you're not telling. And if at all things go wrong, you would have somebody else to blame. See, I told you not to eat this. And this is exactly what has been happening with most of us. This one is not, related only to ordering. If you link it up, it would even be career choices. People come to me for career counseling and they would ask me, sir, what do I do? I said, so you tell me, what do you want to do? No, sir, you tell me. I would do that. I said, hello, go, bungee jumping. Do you get my point? Similarly, the most important thing is, we want to remain happy and we want to avoid the loop of pain. Now, this is extremely important. People generally tend to get into that negativity where they feel that they are the hero of their own movies. And that's why they like tragedy. Because when you are happy, you are light and you're outside, your focus is not with yourself. And suddenly, when you become sad, you start looking at yourself and you feel, I'm a good person and why is this happening to me? And you know what starts happening? You start, feeling important. And actually this importance being given by yourself. And therefore, let's not get into that stupid loop of pain. All right. And in order to understand this, let me give you one particular situation. All right. I hope this one is readable. This situation had actually occurred. You may link with any of the situation. I was training this one group of teachers in one of the engineering colleges, and the teachers complained that the authorities gave them an order that after college hours, they'll have to spend around 30 to 45 minutes to fill up a form. All right, every day they'll have to come, fill up a form, write down the log. Teachers complained, unrequired, not required, and wastage of time. And they started crying about it. To me, again, the logical approach was very much evident, which is, one, ask yourself, do you like the existing situation? And you may actually link it up with anything. If your best friend, if your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, boss, colleague, anyone is not comfortable, I mean, you're not comfortable with the person, ask yourself, do you like the existing situation? Let's assume that you are not, because that's why the problem arose in the very first place. If you are not happy with it, are you willing to talk to the person? The moment I asked those teachers, and teachers were like, no, obviously, authority, boss. I was like, okay, seriously? Because if you're not willing to talk, have you not reached back to the same stage? Why do you not understand it? You're actually there. You were given an opportunity to solve it. You're not solving it. You're again back there. The next point is, even if they agree, okay, we will listen to it. And say, okay, fair enough. If you go and talk to the authority, would they listen? And that was their first question. Would they listen to me? I said, I don't know. Algorithmically and logically, there are only two possibilities, either yes or no. If it is a yes, excellent, good choice, be happy that, finally you are heard. If it is no, have you really lost much? Have you not learned how to talk further? Or what kind of person is this? And how to deal with him further? Because previously, you were not even talking and you were not even getting the information how to handle such a person. I'm assuming that the relationship is a long term. You get my point? And the best thing could be, that actually you reach a stage where you become comfortable with yourself. And that is where the role of acceptance comes. Once you are able to accept what is the reality, you become happy. Because I am very, very sure that most of the leaders, most of the successful, and by successful I mean happy people, they have always followed this circle theory that in our world there are so many things that concern us, but we cannot control all of them, can we? And therefore, where should we focus? We should focus on circle of control. For example, in an interview, what kind of questions would the interviewer ask? I don't know, but can you concentrate on what you are going to respond? Similarly, what kind of person is the other one? I don't know, but do you know how to handle and how to talk to those people? Concentrate on that. And it is said that once you concentrate more and more of this particular area, you actually are able to influence more of the things. And once you are able to do so, you see that things are in your control. The problem is the basic premises. And one of the basic premises, if you remember, was that you want to be happy. Because my life has taught me that it's really awesome to be happy. If you can't remain happy, you cannot make other people happy. Stop worrying about other people's happiness before your own happiness. You are happy, you would make other people happy. And that's for sure. 3 years back, okay, 3.5 years back, I was sitting with my wife, and on one of those rare occasions when both of us made sense to each other, we were talking. And I asked her, I said, Shelly, when do you think you would be the happiest? And she said, you know what? At that point of time, we were living in a rented accommodation. And she said, very innocently, when I would have my own home. I said, nice. And she said, and when I would have a big car. I said, nice. And she said, and I asked, and she said, when Ayush would grow up and become a very successful person. I said, awesome. And thankfully, that must be a lucky day that my wife allowed me to speak, and she asked me to respond, when would you be happy? I said, oh, I would be happy agar raat ko tu yellow dal ke saath achar de de. I would be happy agar achanak se barish ho jaye aur ek bhutta mil jaye. I would be really happy कि एक बार एक अच्छी सी चाय बना दे या अभी ना मेरी बात ना मेरे बेस्ट फ्रेंड से हो जाए. And she was like, क्या बकवास है, ये क्या बात हुई? अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, you wait for your happiness to happen, okay? मैं जाता हूँ और खुश होके आता हूँ. Thank you so much.